Welcome to ep101, and this is an update on Alfred. We've got his sweater done, and we finally got his sweater attached to his pants here, so he's almost back to being normal. We're getting there. The sweater, to get the sweater color, I used Color, where's it at? The Crimson Red. I was going to use Crimson Red and Vermilion, but I didn't like it. After I got it on, I was like, no, I don't like that. I wanted the sweater a little darker. So I took the Crimson Red and painted the sweater Crimson Red. Then I took the same color, added a little titanium white to get the highlight color, and then I was much more happier with that. And to get the dark, the shadow colors in there, I just used black pastel chalk to kind of not only give me my shadows, but kind of grunge up the sweater. Since most of the time he was portrayed as being a little bit on the grungy side, so I thought that ended up working out better than my original plan. So we've got his sweater done. The shirt, obviously I didn't want to go with just straight white because that would have been like way too bright, and I wanted his shirt grungy as well. I don't know if it'll probably just shows up as white on the camera, but anyway, it was painted with titanium white first, and then I took Ceram Coat. Was it buttercream? Yeah, the buttercream. Gave it a wash of that to get it yellow, and then I took Army Painter soft tone ink, which is like a brown, light brown kind of ink, and I went over the shirt to get it stained and grungy and kind of get it dirty a little bit, like around the back of the collar here, and inside the collar I got it a little bit more, so I can't tell on camera. It looks like it's just plain white on the camera, but it's not. So anyway, you can kind of see in there, but anyway, the shirt is discolored, and in person it looks fantastic. It looks like an old grungy turned yellow white shirt. So anyway, that came out pretty good. So that's the sweater. The hands, the flesh, we use Color skin tone, and then we added a little bit of Ceram Coat flesh tone. I mixed these two together. This was too pale on its own, but this was too warm on its own. And since he has red hair, I wanted his complexion a little lighter than this, but not as light as this by itself. So I had to mix the two to get me a skin tone I was happy with. So his hands were painted that. When that was all done, it was dull coated. And then as I was letting that dry, I went ahead and shot through the airbrush that same skin tone I mixed up when we did his head, and that came out pretty good. And then when his skin was dry, I mixed up color for his hair. I wanted his hair close in shade to the artwork, to the cover artwork on all the magazines. So I didn't want it too red, I didn't want it too orange, I didn't want it too auburn. I was trying to get it somewhat in between all three of those colors. And to achieve this color, I used three colors, and I think it looks pretty good myself. I think it looks really close to the the cover art. But to get this color, I used burnt sienna from Color, add a little bit of scarlet red from Color, and add a little bit of titanium white. So these three colors mixed up is what gave me his hair color. I think it looks pretty good. And what I'll do now is, now that this is dry, I can go back and add some strong tone ink to give it some depth. And then I'll add a little bit of red tone ink to redden it up just a little bit more. And I think it'll be perfect. So that's the story on Albert. Probably the next update will probably be a final, because he's almost done. Once we get the head done and glued back onto his body, then it's pretty much done. I'll make me a sign here for the sign holder. I don't know if I'm going to use any of the graphics that originally came with this kit. I'm going to make up my own with Paint Shop Pro to put in there. And then I got a little surprise at the end. We'll add to the kit, all in reference to Mad Magazine, because you know, as I said, this guy was a big part of my life, which is why I always wanted the model kit, and I want to make sure I do a good job on this kit. Plus, it's kind of cool that you know, I started with something that was, I wouldn't say a piece of crap. It wasn't painted that badly. Just needed some TLC to get it looking spiffy. So it's kind of cool to see, you know, to look back at the pictures, just how it was when I bought it to this now. So it's just kind of cool. So that's the story on Alfred. He's getting there. Not too much left. Just got to do his mouth and his eyes and finish up the hair, and he'll be done. When I go to put his head back on his body, we'll probably have a little bit of a gap, which you know, was from me using an X-Acto blade to get it off the shirt here, but I'm not too worried about that, because I can use Vallejo acrylic putty and blend it in there, and then I'll probably use a little darker flesh tone anyway to represent a shadow between his neck and the shirt. So I'm not too worried about trying to match up the skin tone. I want it a little darker anyway. So I think we'll be all good there. And yeah, pretty cool. So we've been busy making decals for people and working on this, so we've been keeping busy. It's all good. Alright guys, that's it for this update. Should be up to 10 minutes or close to it. So as I said, next update, and next video on this will probably be the final on Alfred. And then we'll get back to the Star Fury. So, alright guys, take care. We'll see you in the next video.